Hey, seventh grade, happy Tuesday. Welcome to Pod. Looking over our lesson, it's going to be a pretty short one today. PowerPoint's still coming up, so wait just a second and we'll jump right in. Starting with announcements and reminders. I believe the first one on there is going to be about our Future Ready Beavers acronym. And I talked to a parent about this recently. The Beaver acronym is supposed to represent our student profile, what we hope you guys already are as students or will grow into. And the acronym is a little longer than our WTMS one, but that's what it's meant to imply. All right. So maybe someday we could get to memorizing them even. So we're getting towards the end, and I'll keep reviewing them with you. But beavers are resilient. All right. And the picture over there that you can't see because my head's blocking part of it is a flower growing through a crack in some pretty dry looking ground, meant to symbolize some difficulties or circumstances that could be drawbacks that could be pretty tough. So to be ready to be successful in the future, you got to be able to bounce back from stuff and to keep working hard and find new pathways to succeed. All right. I don't know anybody who has not had a situation in their life or in their personal or professional, it's been something that really knocked them off their path to success. And what you do in the face of that, somebody who can really look at themselves and know their next steps and learn from any kind of mistakes or failures, whatever they may be, those are folks that are going to be able to make the country better, make themselves better, be successful in the world. So we hope that you are resilient in the face of those setbacks. Something coming up soon. So remember, hopefully you've been hearing about this in announcements. So no school Friday, right? Because we have a teacher work day. And then we also, starting on Monday, are starting to, regardless of what temperature it is, let, at least for now, just 10 people in the library during each lunch session. Okay, and those are people that are on recess, but for whatever reason, they don't find that super fun. All right, we're keeping the numbers low. Mrs. Pedroza will be supervising that, and you need to, sit at the table, be quiet, enjoy your lunch break by doing whatever you want, possibly playing a game or using your Chromebook for some homework. I know I saw 2 kids come in the other day and play Uno, and they were quiet and they had a good time. So what I would tell you is you're gonna have to sign in. That way, if somebody abuses that privilege and goes and wanders around the school or is disruptive in some way, you'll probably lose that privilege. And then if you're planning on coming in with 20 people, it's not going to happen. But if you have one friend or another that you want to talk quietly or have some sort of game, we're going to try this and see, because we have a nice library space and we want to use it. All right. Speaking of responsibly using things, so we had a good chat with some school leaders recently. I've talked to some parents about this. So if you haven't noticed, we did disable Google Hangouts for the school. Often when we pulled up someone's computer or were looking at something, 4 or 5 different chats at the same time would be occurring during school hours. But that really wasn't the determining factor for me, because I made the call on this. It was the fact that at home you had a device that allowed you to video chat or just chat typing wise, kind of texting. And some of your parents don't want that for you yet, and that's their right. Okay. So we still want you to have the Chromebook at home as a learning tool, but don't want you to have the capability to. That's the parent's decision to do that through phone. Okay. If you ever need something from a school or from somebody late at night for homework, you have email. Okay. There's hopefully some ways around that. Cool Math Games, on the other hand, I looked into that as well, and there is some benefits and drawbacks for sure. Again, distraction. There's some debate about how much actual math is there. There is some pattern work and some brain break. And that's one of the studies I saw found that there's some research saying that it could be a nice brain break for a student that could help with your mental health. But I did not block that. You guys have to do a good job of using it in a controlled, responsible manner. Not when your teacher's up there talking to you. You're supposed to be a group project. Okay, but if you have 5 minutes here or there free time and you play a quick game, they're not violent or anything like that. But that's sort of you keep it as long as you don't sort of abuse that privilege. All right. So those are some things I wanted to talk to you about. Just off the top of my head, I remembered that next week are parent-teacher conferences. So just remember, if your parents haven't heard from their homeroom teacher yet, hopefully that's coming soon. Because remember, we're not there to, say anything bad about you. It's nice to compare notes with your parents. And then next week, you'll be seeing those very important official school surveys that we do once every trimester. So I'll keep encouraging you to do those complete those in an honest manner, thorough manner, because your voice, your input really does help us improve the school. All right. Those are some things going on, things that have gone on. Red Ribbon Week last week was a lot of fun, I thought. I'm glad that we were able to do that in kind of a altered format with our videos and stuff. In the time of COVID, it was good that we made it work. Lots of participation was dressing up. I hope those drug-free Idaho find your own high videos were helpful for you. I thought they were really well made, and they found that what people are chasing with dangerous chemicals and things that could be harmful to themselves and to others, you can find in your life in a more sustainable way. And whatever works for you to find that natural high. So encourage you to keep learning about those things. You weren't seventh grade quite able to knock off those eighth graders and their cockiness, and they think they're so good. And really, I'm just trying to motivate you, because you got another opportunity coming up in Pride Week later on in the spring to try to take out the undefeated eighth grade. Because you guys were close, but you can do it. And I did see a lot of participation from your class, so thank you for that. After that, we 2 weeks ago have been talking about for a while your first unit. Remember, we're having a little bit different experience with Pod other than this new format with videos that we're trying out. Second Steps new middle school program. So these are not Schaefer Special Pod videos and PowerPoints, which you're probably okay with. So we're trying it out, and their first unit was about mindsets and goals. And the last time we talked about if-then plans and tried them on our own a little bit. We actually did 2 parts of this, and we have been studying that young lady up there in the corner. I guess I can point with the mouse, who's kind of trying to join the X-Men, right? And so if-then plans were those: I see a roadblock, and if this happens again, then what's my plan? All right, so those were pretty good. And today's lesson is going to be a short one, like I talked about, is the end of Unit 1. Okay, we're going to put a bow on this situation, hence the present there, and just wrap up this one. Okay, and to be short and make this as easy as possible for you, there was just looking back over the lessons we've done for this first unit, and the Second Steps activity would have taken about an hour and a half, it looked like, to do what they wanted you to do. So I'm just giving you my own wrap up, and we'll get back to their lessons next week. All right. So big idea number 1 from this unit. Just know, it makes me think of the old saying, you can't teach an old dog new tricks. And if you've heard somebody say that, maybe your dad or grandpa, they're full of those kind of sayings. I'm not talking about dogs. They're just talking about how it's so much easier as a young person to learn something as opposed to somebody who's a little older. Which, good news is, as an old person like me, you can still learn some stuff. But here's what I want to teach you about your brain chemistry and just your mindset. First, let's talk about the myth. All right. We used to think in the world and in scientists and America, all over the place, that you could, once you had a given amount of knowledge, that's just as smart as you were going to be. They had these things called IQ tests, and they would take them at a young age and say, well, this person's destined for this because this is how their brain is functioned. Okay? And they say that I am good at this. It was fixed in place. It was rock hard, and that's what you're going to be. If you were good at this, great, but you may be bad at that. There's no changing it. Pretty depressing, right? Brain scientists have showed us that when we have a growth mindset, it actually, the mindset itself is powerful. People might say, well, that's just your attitude. It has nothing to do with actual science. Well, it does actually, because as a young person, your ability to form new synapses in your brain is amazing. You can build new neural pathways all the time just by doing a new task over and over again. Okay. So I think that's pretty important to understand about, yes, your attitude. And if you say not fixed, like I can't do that, and instead say growth mindset, I can't do that yet, that actually is backed up by real science that you can learn new things. Yeah, you can learn a lot of challenging things too. So I think that's good to know about your mindset. So if you've got a blurry one, a faulty mindset that says, I am bad at this, or I am no good at that, please re-examine that. All right. Big idea of this unit number 2. What's the big idea with goals? All right. I say all right a lot. I'm sorry. All right. We have done a lot with goals over the last couple of years, trying to write those in your agendas, making them a bit more meaningful for you, helping you set them so they're smart goals, not just kind of random dreams. All right. And to talk about why goals are important, well, I had this slide left over from last year when you guys learned about the 7 habits. And habit 2 is begin with the end in mind, knowing if you're in control of your car. Remember, being proactive is habit one. Know where you're driving that car. Okay. And I like this quote from Alice in Wonderland and this exchange between Alice and the Cheshire Cat. So I believe it's Alice asking, would you tell me please which way I ought to walk from here? That depends a good deal on where you want to get to, said the cat. I don't care much where I go, said Alice. Then it doesn't much matter which way you go, replied the cat. Okay, then if you don't have an end in mind, begin with the end in mind, a destination to this journey, you're just going to be wandering around. Okay, and I know that's hard. You don't know exactly how your life's going to go out, but you should be determining some of your values and which direction you want to go in. And I've seen in my own life and middle school kids that with no end in mind, they can make a new friend, get in a social group, and people can really veer that car off in not a great direction. Other people can veer that car off in a better direction, but with no object on the horizon to let you know where you're going, life's pretty hard. So mindset's important. Goals are important. Once you make those goals, time to recognize roadblocks. And this picture is supposed to symbolize, just your self-knowledge, okay? Self-awareness even. So when you have something you want to do, I want to try out for band and become the best flute player. Okay, just knowing what are the things going to stop me from doing that. What are some things that I'm not great at? Sometimes your roadblocks are internal. Remember, those are things that you have a tendency to not practice, to get distracted, okay, by various things. Other times there's roadblocks that are external. Remember our example from that young lady. She also was distracted, wouldn't always practice with her X-Men type powers, but some of them weren't her fault, that people at home wouldn't allow her to practice or whatever it might be. So just knowing what's in your circle of control, again, to borrow some Covey language, and then recognizing that this roadblock, is maybe caused by somebody else, but there may be something I can do about it, my approach to it. So I think that once you make the goal, if you're just done and say, I'll figure out how this happens, if you don't have a plan, a goal is not necessarily a plan. A goal is what you want, plans how to get there, and what could derail that plan, and really being honest with yourself and saying, well, is it something that I could work on, or is it something outside of things? So it just depends, right? And then big idea number 4, okay, you've recognized the roadblock. What comes next? Well, we learned about if-then plans, right? If this occurs, if I get distracted, if I get my friends want me to go over here, what am I going to do in the meantime? If you don't have those things kind of drawn out for you and identifying like, okay, if I want to make the football team, I've got to gain some weight, or I got to get faster. Okay, whatever it is. If I want to make the soccer team, I got to work on my dribbling skills. So how do you do that? What are the roadblocks? And if the roadblocks come up, how will you overcome them? Remember, a roadblock can be circumvented. You could go around that. All right. So I like this unit. It was pretty fun. I have a couple quotes to end on for you as we move on to something else next week. Okay. And we'll be done talking about mindsets and goals. This one is a little bit about goals, really. Okay. And if you just have no place to go, no preparation, no plans, you're just saying, well, I'm just preparing to fail. Quote from this handsome gentleman, Benjamin Franklin over there. This is such a good one that I know I've used it for some pod this year. I can't remember if it was your grade. I apologize. Okay, but you got to set some goals and make some plans. All right. Otherwise, you're just kind of, like it says, waiting for the failure's going to come your way. Most people don't succeed just kind of on random chance. All right. This quote's to get about mindsets. And again, that blurry picture is meant to remind you of paradigms, the Stephen Covey concept. Okay. That paradigm's the pair of glasses that you wear is sometimes blurred, and it may be based on other people's faulty knowledge that may not be real information. Okay. Sometimes you need to take off those glasses and have a new perspective. That's how you change things. So I love this quote from Muhammad Ali, arguably the greatest boxer of all time, one of the most influential athletes in general of all time. And he said, if my mind can conceive it and my heart can believe it, then I can achieve it. Pretty catchy, right? He's just saying, yes, it's about dreams and reaching for the sky, but he's just talking about in the heart and the brain. If you can visualize something, then the actions will follow. People don't always realize that. You have to have the right mindset before you try to alter your actions in any way. All right. So I appreciate you letting us use this second step stuff on you. I sure do miss you guys in real pod. You may not miss our stuff, but these videos are not ideal, but we're doing what we can this year. Right. So thanks for listening. Remember to really analyze your mindsets, make some goals. And next week, we'll start our second unit. Have a great Tuesday, guys. See ya. And hopefully the video goes off soon. Oh, here it comes, maybe. Yeah. You guys probably like to laugh at this last part, huh? We'll see ya.